got it. And we are over here. And we are I hope I got it that time. Welcome to Discoveries in Health. We're just getting started. We're muting all the microphones. We're muting all the microphones so that we can have no echoes. There we go. Now, everybody, welcome to Discoveries in Health. This is Bishop Dr. Truman Berst from Good Shepherd Ministries. And we're here every Thursday praising the Most High God in the name of Jesus Christ, our Savior, and holding a class on natural remedies. And we're muting all the mics to start with, but as we go along, after the opening prayer, we will be opening the microphones for anyone who has a comment, a suggestion, or a topic. But for now, we are muting all the microphones so we can get started, and there will be no, if all the microphones are open, well, we get a lot of echoes and so forth. So the microphones are all closed at the moment. And I have stated my name. The telephone number is 503-362-5899. My email address, Truman, TRUMAN at herbalhealthreview.com, just like the website, herbalhealthreview.com, where all my work is published. And I hope you become a member so that you can get a username and a password and have access to 62 years of continual research pretty much on a daily basis. I've just been recently expanding and updating all the single herb reports in the herbal descriptions herb class that's on the website. So we're expanding that, and when we get done with that, we will publish the latest copy of descriptions for herbal healing, which you can also purchase a digital download of that book, my book, the descriptions for natural healing. And what we're doing here is we're not prescribing, we're not diagnosing, and we're not selling products. We're answering questions over there on dial pad meetings in that room, and anybody else who calls in over Zoom, or if you're on YouTube. And boy, today I've been talking so much, I don't have a lot of voice left. I just noticed that. Hello, voice. Stay with me. Okay. Keep taking those fluids. I should have had some Agrimony. That's good for your throat, and it's good for singers. And we just did a video on Agrimony and posted that up on YouTube. Fascinating herb. We'll get in. It's for arthritis. It's for the liver. It's for all kinds of things. But going up on the YouTube and check out that new video on Agrimony. And I'm mentioning arthritis today because I've been asked to talk about the research that I've done on arthritis and uric acid and purines, all of these things that are plaguing people because so many people have arthritis. But that's something we're going to get into and we're going to be talking about. But before we do that, now you know who I am and why we're here and what we're going to talk about today. What we need to do now is to have an opening prayer. And let's get over and do what we love to do, because you got to keep doing it every day, folks. This is something we got to do every day, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day, depending on whether you're in the heat of the battle or just getting ready to go into the heat of the battle, which is my normal scenario. So we're over here in the King James Version of the Bible, chapter 6, Ephesians, and we're going to go down here to this Ephesians chapter 6, verse 10, and we're going to talk about the whole body armor of God. And of course, always we're coming in the name of Jesus Christ, our Savior. Praise, worship, and thank you, the Most High God, in Jesus Christ's name. As we receive your complete, continuous, endless, and limitless blessing for the glory and for the victory of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, in Jesus Christ's name. We receive your complete, continuous, endless, and limitless blessing for the glory and for the victory of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. In Jesus Christ's name, we receive. Thank you. So be it. Amen. Wow. Let's get over to anyone over there in the room. If you have a topic or a suggestion, we do have one, like I say, to start with, and that will be arthritis. And uric acid, which Agrimony is one of the great herbs for that. And since I'm I said that, well, let's get back over here and put on that whole body armor of God. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore, we take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand, stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace, and above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked, and take the helmet of salvation, the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God, praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit, and watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for all saints. And for me, that utterance may be given unto me, that I may open my mouth boldly to make known the mystery of the gospel, for which I am an ambassador in bonds, that therein I may speak boldly as I ought to speak, but that ye also may know my affairs and how I do. Tychicus, a beloved brother and faithful minister in the Lord, shall make known to you all things. In Jesus Christ's name, all praises to the Most High God. Let's get started over there now. If anyone has a question, a topic, or a suggestion, let me know about it. We're going to get started with talking about arthritis. And since we were talking about agrimony, the fact that it is used for the liver and the kidneys, and it gets rid of all the wastes, and agrimony, getting rid of the wastes, but it's also helping you to digest and break down food and utilize everything from it. It's a marvelous herb with an incredible history of helping people breaking down the waste. It was called a heal all. It was used for everything: liver health, respiratory health, detoxification, wound healing, digestive health. An absolutely amazing herb, and that's agrimony. So that's one of the herbs that can be used for arthritis, because it's helping them. It's got such a great reputation as a heal-all for everything. They even had, even the witches got involved and tried to make it their herb, claiming that it would cure people who were shot by elves. If you had an elf shoot you, well, you were supposed to take agrimony. But this is not a witch's herb. And herbs that just, and because of an herb, that it's a good topic. Someone once asked me, well, if a witch used it, then it's no, then it's bad. No, that doesn't make it bad, no more than if a witch uses anything good and uses it for evil purposes. So just because a witch used an herb, or it has a name like Devil's Club or Devil's Claw or something like that, that doesn't mean it's a witch's herb. That means that it was so powerful that witches used it for evil purposes. But it's God's herb. God made it, not the witch. Okay, that's what you need to understand, is God made these natural remedies. That's why they work. And that's why they work better than anything else when it comes to comforting mankind. And that's what we're talking about here, is comforting mankind and knowing about the herbs and the natural remedies that may help you to be comforted. So anyway, agrimony, you want to make sure you learn more about that. Get up on that website, herbalhealthreview.com. Go over to the single herbs under herbal descriptions, and and take a look at Agrimony. Now, let's get over to arthritis and talking about arthritis. Arthritis, man, whether you suffer from painful swelling or you know someone who does, the common denominator is inflammation. Here are some tips that may assist in alleviating the pain and help you and your loved ones to enjoy a life with greater longevity without the pain. Arthritis is the most common cause of disability. Arthritis is...
Greetings, Dr. Truman.
Greetings, Sister Barbara. We're talking about arthritis.
I already know what you're talking about. Here's my question, okay? I know that this is not a cure. When I watched this topic that you sent over, Alamo, can you give me the number that I can order? Where can I order it from?
Okay. On the bottom of that report is a telephone number, and I don't get anything from the sale of any product. So the number that would be 541-791-8400. Or if you're going to email them, it's customer care. Let's see here. Let me get that for you. Customer care at healthherbs.com. So it's customer care at healthherbs.com.
Yeah, a couple people called me about it. I understand the phone number, but do you have the number to the product?
Yes.
The
at the bottom of that article on Agrimony, when you go down to the number, I think I remember it being 3007. There it is, 3007. That's its number. And then you've got the telephone number of someone who may...
Yeah, because they said that that's one thing with the telephone number, but we know you're not trying to heal us or whatever, but is there a number? So when we call, we tell them the number.
That's what I said, 3007. Okay. That's the number, okay?
Yeah, because there was another number you gave.
Okay, yeah, I gave out the telephone number of where you can get it. I don't get anything from that, but I just gave you a number where you could get it. But the number of Agrimony is number 307, and it's a great herb. It's great for arthritis and all kinds of different things because it's so good at helping you to absorb all the nutrients from the food that you eat and get rid of the wastes. So it's getting rid of the uric acid out of the body. That's helping with
what I want to say is I want to thank you, and I would let the older elders know.
Yeah.
That don't understand this cell phone like younger people. So I will allow them to know, give them the number and what number to ask for.
Okay. Thank you, Sister Barbara.
The seniors.
Thank you very much.
About the seniors. Yeah.
Okay. Did you have anything else? Is that it?
All I'm saying to you is about the seniors. It can't be left behind.
No, we don't want to leave our seniors behind. Hey,
well, I'm going to call them and give them the number so they can do it themselves.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Barbara. All right. And let's go over here and mute the microphone. There we go. And so Agrimony, great herb for arthritis, because it's painful, and the arthritis is the most common cause of disability in the United States. That's huge. Arthritis is the most common cause of disability in the United States. How could we not talk about this topic? Anyway, it's limiting the activities of nearly 21 million adults, according to the CDC. You know, those with arthritis, though, they don't have to be slaves to their genetics or gym injuries. There are several natural remedies to help heal joint pain and inflammation. You may be familiar with the common types of joint pain that include osteoarthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, and gouty arthritis with that high uric acid and eating too many purine-rich foods that that cause it and aggravate it. Anyway, the latter is often associated with wearing down and tearing of the cartilage, or simply not having enough cartilage. And after a while, in a particular joint. Inflammation is the body's response to a harmful substance, such as a pathogen, a damaged cell. And the body has 37 trillion cells. Or if there's an irritant in the body. An acute inflammation, such as a cut or a wound. I need to mute a mic. There we go. It's muted. An inflammation, such as a cut or a wound, triggers the body's inflammatory response to heal by clotting the blood. So when you're taking Agrimony, that would help the body to clot. If the body is hemorrhaging, it would help the body to clot, so you would reduce hemorrhaging. And there are other herbs also that will be blood clotting, slowing down the bleeding, and so forth, like shepherd's purse. But what we're talking about is that this inflammatory response may also include swelling and redness, which eventually disappears. But however, the chronic or prolonged inflammation, such as arthritis, the body is in constant state of simultaneous healing and cell destruction. It's just healing and destruction, cell destruction. As a result, the chronic disease may ensue. And in the case of arthritis, the body may endure constant pain, redness, and swelling. So let's talk about some things that address those issues that are natural foods. These are natural foods. We're not talking about drugs. We're talking about natural foods. So, joint and bone health concerns are common across the globe. And the FMCG Gurus survey of 10,000 consumers conducted in the fourth quarter of 2018, almost 4 out of 10 people, that's 39% of the consumers, said they regularly suffer from such health problems. The most common types of problems experienced are back pain, 51%, neck pain, 45%, gout, 33% is the problem that consumers are least likely to say they experience. Consumers said they are concerned with more than 70% saying they have made changes to their diet and lifestyle to improve their health. This can be attributed to the fact that 59% of consumers said they recognize the link between joint health and overall health. Thus, a high proportion of consumers said they are interested in trying to improve their health. The major factors, two major factors, are causing an increase in joint and bone health problems: an aging population and sedentary lifestyles. Society is aging because of rising levels of life expectancy and declining birth rates. This means the proportion of society aged 65 and older continues to grow, which means more people are at risk of health problems, such as brittle bones. They don't know about HCl. They need to find out about HCl, betaine HCl. Then they wouldn't have brittle bones. They have reduced mobility and less dexterity in their hands. And however, another key group who are prone to suffering from problems, particularly back and neck pains, are 25 years old to 34-year-old in the demographic. These consumers spend a lot of time sitting in front of technical devices, leading to joint and health problems. Indeed, these consumers tend to work long hours, are sitting for long periods of time, and tend not to take breaks from the screens. To improve joint and bone health, consumers are most likely to have said they exercise more, like 35%, compared to 15% who said they changed their diets. The desire to maintain fitness and activity in later life were about 45%. Is the most common motivation to make improvements. This is being driven by younger adults who are concerned about the impact that pains suffered now will have on quality of life later. Because of this, they have a considerable level of interest in foods, drinks, and nutritional supplements positioned around aiding and improving joint and bone health. So there's a lot of information out there, and this was an article by Mike Hughes, who's the head of research and insight at FMCG Gurus, and an article in Joint Health for Young and Old digital magazine. So making lifestyle changes is where you start, because when you make lifestyle changes, then you are getting into feeding your body in a way that is the way that it wants to be fed, not the way that you think that you thought, or the way that you think have been told that you should do. You're going to make some lifestyle changes, and you're going to notice the results. You're going to and you're going to be encouraged to continue to do it. That's what happens over and over and over. You get people who say, "Oh, I could never make that change." But when they start making these changes gradually, or some people can jump right on in and make some big changes right away, that's great. But those who make it gradually even, they start to see that it really does make a huge difference on how you feel, how you think, how you're able to play, how you're able to work, and without the pain and the suffering. And I've been there, but I'm not there, and I haven't been there now for a long time, because I did the make lifestyle changes, and I created the report. So what do? We get into, and here it goes again. First thing you do, it says how plant-based diets can help people with rheumatoid arthritis. And here is a medical news today. Medical news today, October 4, 2019, 4 years ago. My goodness. A new review in that time, in October 4, 2019. A review was linked a plant-based diet with reduction in rheumatoid arthritis symptoms, most likely due to a systemic reduction in inflammation, a result signifying promise for other patients dealing with autoimmune disorders. So medical news is recognizing this, that what we're saying is true. One major cause of inflammation is poor diet. That's it. So we make that lifestyle changes. We get into that lifestyle changes diet system, a plant-based diet system with acid alkaline food charts, because people with arthritis are too acidic. And they have too much uric acid, and the body don't like it. Inflammation and pain. From a natural holistic perspective, the foods we eat play a significant role in the inflammatory responses. We are living organisms with 37 trillion cells that contain a masterful self-healing ability with multiple brains. This isn't the only brain that you have. Your heart even has a brain. Your stomach has its own brain. Science is just figuring these things out, and how it works, and how the body is able to communicate with itself and heal itself. And it can. But we need to work with it. Can't work against it. We got a lot of people working against it, and they don't know that they're working against how the body actually works. If we feed our bodies the right foods and additional nutrients that our bodies require, because we figure this out, we find out what the additional nutrients work best for us. And everybody's as unique as your fingerprint. And our bodies begin to heal on their own, perhaps without having to take potentially harmful drugs. And it's, number one, best to eat no meat to lower uric acid. If you must eat meat, the best meats that your body recognizes and can digest are organ meats: heart, lungs, liver, those kinds of meats. And you want to make sure that it's from humanely treated. That's huge. Humanely treated grass-fed cattle. Or get your plant-based omega-3, which is found in freshly ground flax seeds, chia seeds, and hemp seeds. If you're looking, and pea protein. You want to know about organic pineapple. If there's arthritis, the core of the pineapple relieves pain. So if you're just going to eat the, you're going to throw the core away, you just throw the pain, the actual pain reliever, and the digestive properties of the pineapple is the core. So organic pineapple, including the core, it contains anti-inflammatory bromelain. That's what's in the core. It's called bromelain, and bromelain reduces inflammation. So, and there are bromelain supplements you can also get as well. And there's organic cherries. You want to consume more cherries, and you can juice them, cherries. You can use a frozen cherry juice. You know, a fresh, but it's always got to be organic. Okay, you don't need any extra pesticides or chemicals in your body. Your body doesn't run on those things. God didn't make them, man did. That's the problem. All forms are effective of cherries. Okay, just tart red cherries. They contain substances called anthocyanosides, which are very effective at lowering uric acid levels. Eating cherries is also among the most effective home remedy for gout. Organic raw apple cider vinegar. Raw means unpasteurized. It should also be unfiltered apple cider vinegar with the mother, a cloud, in the bottle. And like lemons and limes, they're alkaline producing, as is processed in the body's pH balancing buffer system. Drink half your weight in ounces of water per day. Half your weight in ounces of water per day means if you weigh 200 pounds, you need 100 ounces of water per day to flush everything out and keep everything operating. You've got to have half your weight in ounces of water daily. And if you're going through a healing cleanse and detoxifying the liver and the kidneys and the blood and so forth, you're doing any kind of a cleanse, or you're battling arthritis, so forth, you want to drink at least 1 gallon, 128 ounces of water daily. Let's flush those kidneys out. Let's rinse that liver out. Green tea and green tea extract has been used for medicinal purposes for centuries in many different cultures. Green tea, and you can get it in a tincture extract, so it's concentrated, and you're taking about a half a dropperful 3 times a day, or just drink a lot of green tea like I do. Green tea is made from unfermented leaves, according to the University of Maryland Medical Center. The average cup of green tea contains 50 to 150 milligrams of polyphenols. These polyphenols are powerful antioxidants. They fight free radical compounds and other compounds that can cause damage to cells. And some evidence suggests that free radicals may play a role in the inflammatory joint disease. So that's why green tea is very, very good for a lot of other reasons, even besides arthritis. Turmeric is an extremely effective anti-inflammatory herb, and thus it's an effective pain reliever. It contains at least two chemicals, curcumin and curcuminoids, which decrease inflammation and are very much like the oft prescribed non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs without the side effects. You can, in a supermarket, in like Whole Foods and so forth, supermarket, they have turmeric roots. And a lot of health food stores that have turmeric roots. So you just get the roots. It kind of looks like an orange, like a carrot, like a small carrot with an orange and a very orange inside. And that way it's inexpensive. Just buy some turmeric roots and make sure you're getting plenty of those in your diet, enough of them. I mean, like a tablespoon 3-4 times a day of turmeric. This is the herb that was used to reduce the inflammation in the Egyptians who built the pyramids. They were eating a lot of turmeric, got rid of the inflammation. Joint care. Joint care is a massive herbal formula that was a quest that I was on for 7 years. When a young man was speeding through a red light and I was stopped at a dead stop behind a truck, and I was just right behind that truck, and this young fellow was texting and speeding and ran a red light and slammed right into the back of my SUV and pushed me right into that truck, a semi 18-wheeler that was right in front of me, and I had nowhere to go. So I got a whiplash. Then I got another whiplash when I hit that, when the SUV hit the truck. I tried everything for months and months and months, and and I got some result, but I was in a great deal of pain. So at this point, what happened was I had surgery on my neck, and my neck is spliced together in 3 places in my neck, and all of that was arthritic, and it was horribly painful. And I tried everything that I possibly could, and it was pretty good. It helped, it numbed it out a bit and so forth. But until, let's take a look at that formula, because you can click on any of these things. When you're talking about turmeric, you can click on turmeric. If you're talking about joint care, you click on joint care and you open the link in a new tab, and you are looking at a very complicated formulation called joint care. It's where I took this massive amount of herbs and I took the arthritis formula that I created, the rheumatism formulation, all of the pain herbs, the mushrooms went in there, and all of these things helped. The kava from the pain, the arnica, all of these things helped. But it took 7 years to figure out finally the thing that would get rid of my arthritis was the cancer herbs. So I put all the cancer herbs in there that people use to comfort themselves when they're fighting cancers. And I put that in there too. And then I took it, and after taking it for 3 or 4 days. I forgot to take it for 3 or 4 days because I didn't have any pain. No arthritis was in my neck anymore. And I felt wonderful. And then I went along for 2 or 3 weeks, up it 3 times. And now I have been taking that arthritis herbal formulation called Joint Care with all of those herbs in there. I mean, there's got to be at least 45 or 50 herbs in that formulation. It took 7 years to create it and balance it out. And I don't have arthritis anymore in my neck or in my body. That's it. I don't have it. I'm 82 years old and the arthritis is gone. I can turn my head. I don't have pain. So that is the best arthritis formulation that I was able to come up with. And it took me a long time to do that. But that's it. It's Joint Care number 1043 for arthritis. And let's get back to the arthritis report. Again, I don't get anything from the sale of any product. I created 14,000 natural remedies and I get nothing from the sale of any product. Otherwise, I wouldn't be sitting here. I would be somewhere else, probably, maybe, on a tropical isle, doing this broadcast. But because I'd have to do this broadcast. We talked about betaine HCl a moment ago. And that's something you want to know about when there's arthritis, because what this does, HCl is an amino acid. And you take 1 with each meal. And you take 2 with a large glass of water if you have acid reflux, GERD, acid coming up into your throat. You take 2 with a large glass of water, 10 minutes, that's gone. Taking 1 with each meal of this HCl betaine, which converts to pepsinogen, and the pepsinogen converts to pepsin, the enzyme, and pepsin, the enzyme, breaks down the food and digests it. And most amazingly, the big problem with calcium is the calcium can't get through the tissues. You don't get it, and people get osteoporosis because the calcium is not getting there. But when you take the betaine, it unlocks that enzyme, digests it, and breaks it down to a smaller molecule, and then it can pass through, and it can get all the way to the hair, the teeth, the fingernails, and then no osteoporosis when you know about betaine HCl that breaks down calcium so it gets where it's going. So that's why betaine is so important. Nettles and quercetin. We talked about quercetin. Okay, I call it quercetin. Yeah, sometimes I mispronounce a word every now and then, but that's the way it goes. I mean, there's a lot of words here, but quercetin, nettle and quercetin. I call it quercetin. Anyway, these nettles, they're enormously good for you, and they're containing protein, calcium, and phosphorus, and iron, and magnesium, and beta carotene, along with vitamins A, C, D, and B complex. They're all in a form that is easy for the body to use. And so, but because nettles is anti-inflammatory, that's another herb. You want to take plenty of nettles, plenty of turmeric if there's inflammation. More nettles, more turmeric, and add that quercetin. Okay. Okay. Ginger. I love ginger. When you cook and you're going to put a spice on anything, ginger. You reach for ginger always, because a ginger can be just as effective as ibuprofen, which you don't want to take for arthritic pain. I'll say it again: ginger root. you got to have a fresh ginger root in your kitchen, and slice it and dice it, and it's just as effective as ibuprofen for arthritic pain relief, only without the nasty side effects. It also relieves an upset stomach, or queasy stomachs. So it's really great for that. So ginger, make sure you're getting lots of ginger, lots of garlic in your diet. Okay, got to have those. White willow bark is the origin of aspirin. So back in the 1700s, a French chemist discovered that white willow bark relieved pain. And so then in the 18th century, this guy's father, who was a chemist in Germany, his father came to the chemist and said, "Hey, you're such a great chemist. Make something for my arthritis pain. I'm miserable." So the chemist found the works of that French chemist who found white willow bark and found it was anti-inflammatory. Said, okay. So he looked at it and it's the salicylic acid. Aha. So he made these tablets and called it Bayer aspirin. But the Bayer aspirin, these tablets, if you ate 2 or 3 of them and really didn't swallow it or just swallowed the tablets, they could lay in your stomach and burn a hole in your stomach because of the salicylic acid, which could eat a hole in your stomach and cause ulcers and so forth in the stomach. So the Bayer aspirin wasn't working so good because he made an acid out of it. He took an herb that you could take all the white willow bark that you need as an anti-inflammatory safely, or this is so. Anyway, the origin of aspirin, Bayer aspirin, is white willow bark. So you get white willow bark, and you take half a teaspoon or a teaspoon 2 or 3 times a day, whenever you need it. That will help to reduce inflammation. Then there is a formulation where I combined the turmeric root with boswellia resin, frankincense, a biblical herb, and ginger root. Got ginger root, boswellia resin, and turmeric in a liquid tincture extract for inflammation. So that is an inflammation combination of herbs. And you're taking 6 drops if you are sensitive to everything. And if you're not, so that way you start with 6 drops and you work your way up to how much you actually need. Generally, most people, including myself, would take half a dropper full or 30 drops in the mouth, and you may take it 3 times daily, or more if you needed to, for inflammation. Okay. Fish oil for arthritis. Toward the end of the 20th century, researchers began studying fish oil. Unlike cod liver oil, fish oil doesn't contain vitamins A and D, but it's much richer in omega-3 fatty acids than that is a predecessor, the fish. Omega-3s are excellent for heart health, and as it turns out, also for arthritis. So let's get those omega-3s, those fish oils, in our diet. Okay. And then there's a rheumatism relief formulation, combination of herbs that is specific to comfort people with rheumatism. So it's called Rheumatism Relief, number 1369. Cat's claw from the Amazon is an anti-inflammatory herb. Cat's claw. Colloidal silver water will boost the immune system and is antibacterial and antiviral if you need a boost for your immune system to help the ravages of arthritis. And you would do something with colloidal silver water. Generally, you take it only when you do need some immune boosters, or if you want something antibacterial and antiviral, because colloidal silver water is a water you can splash in your eyes and get rid of any eye infection. Put it in your ears, it gets rid of any ear infection. Put it in your nose, it gets rid of any sinus infection. Put it in your mouth, it gets rid of any mouth infection. Put it on a burn, the pain goes away immediately and the burn heals up. You're going to have to leave that wrapped in a cloth saturated with colloidal silver water for about 4 hours. Then when you take it off, there'll be no pain ever as it heals up, no matter how nasty the burn is. Colloidal silver water, amazing when you know how to use it and all the uses of it. It's incredible. Okay. Colloidal silver water. There's a little box called a generator that makes the colloidal silver water. That's what you want to buy, because the water is very expensive. You could buy 2 quarts of the water and you would have saved if you bought the box that makes it. And they can make gallons and gallons, not just quarts and quarts, but gallons and gallons of it for $1 a gallon when you have the little box. And it's guaranteed for life. It's called read up on the colloidal silver water, because everybody, absolutely, without a doubt, you can't usually say everybody about anything, but you can say everybody. When you say colloidal silver water, everybody should have a colloidal silver water generator, because colloidal silver water is nature's natural healer. Be sure and read that on the sidebar there. Colloidal silver water, nature's natural healer. It really is. No kidding. Now we were down here and we got to the colloidal silver water and I really had to stop. Then there's the Emu MSM salve. That is an amazing salve. Okay. It's good for your skin. It's good for to rub on affected areas to relieve inflammation and pain. And you want to know about something called DMSO, dimethyl sulfoxide. DMSO. Whenever you have an injury, like a broken arm or a broken thumb, whatever it might be, you want to take some of that Emu MSM salve and add some DMSO liquid to that, and then you dip your finger and rub that broken thumb down and until it'll take all the pain away, and eventually it's so penetrating it takes all those ingredients like the heliochrysum, which is a healer and a pain reliever, and in the Emu MSM salve, and it causes everything to penetrate. So I probably got another maybe a week and I'll be able to use my thumb again. I broke it 2 years ago and I didn't do anything about it for till about a month ago, and I decided to stop having a broken thumb. It just didn't hurt that bad. I'm pretty, anyway, it's almost healed. Just another few days. Emu MSM salve with a little DMSO liquid in there, so it penetrates. That will cause it to penetrate. Burdock root is one of the greatest herbs for anybody to find out about if they have arthritis and they want a blood cleaner. Burdock root is one of the greatest things you can do for pain, joint or otherwise. because you want to increase your intake of essential fatty acids and take burdock root, which contains fatty oils, which along with its sterols and tannins contribute to burdock's reputation as an anti-inflammatory, great anti-inflammatory. Dr. Dr. Christopher always told me how great his burdock root was helping him to get rid of his rheumatoid arthritis. He suffered with that. Anyway, glucosamine sulfate has also been shown to help with arthritis. And acidophilus, you want to make sure that you're getting a probiotic. And a good one, non-dairy, is this one, acidophilus number 4675. And enzymes. Get rid of the pain and the suffering of arthritis. Enzymes really help to do that. They break down scar tissue, and they reduce inflammation. Enzymes. There's some vital Zem enzymes. That's it for arthritis. From my perspective of it, let's look at let's look over here and see if anyone has a question, a topic, or a suggestion today. Does anyone have a question, a topic, or a suggestion? Otherwise, we're going to go deeper into arthritis and uric acid and how to deal with it. Okay, I don't see any open mics. So here we go. Get over here. Let's talk about arthritis and 8 natural treatments for arthritis symptoms. According to the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention, more than 50 million Americans now suffer from arthritis. That equates to 1 in 5 people over 18. Yes. Yes.
Dr. Berst, I have something to tell you. Dr. Berst, how are you?
I am fine. How are you, Sister Sharon?
Sharon.
Yes, yes. What is your question topic?
Well, lately I've been hearing people having trouble with the asthmatic and also like inflammation in the sinuses, ears, nose, and throat. Can you help us a little bit with that? And what we can do?
Yes.
Or what herbs naturally will help us?
Okay, I can do that.
I've been saying like pineapples and natural antihistamine, and so
Yes.
if you can elaborate on that, that would be a blessing.
Okay, we will do that. Thank you very much for that topic.
Love you.
And we're muting the mic. Okay, so so we go full circle. Asthma, sinus, respiratory. Where do we go? We go back to the beginning, agrimony. Because when you look at agrimony, it's going to help. It's going to help respiratory issues. So we're getting back to here it is. Agrimony has been used to ease conditions of the upper respiratory tract. It is especially useful when used as a gargle to soothe sore throats, mouth ulcers, and inflamed gums. And it's often used by performers and speakers to relax the throat and strengthen the voice. So that is one of the things that's going to help with asthma. But let's go and visit asthma for a moment and take a look at that. And there is a sinus formulation. And again, colloidal silver water, snuffing it into the sinus, a drop or two at a time. I'm not flooding the sinuses. We're putting a drop, a little bit, or you get a neti pot and you flush the sinuses out with colloidal silver water. That's how you get rid of sinusitis. And there is even a sinus formula that I created, and the sinus formula is, I can do it, hold on, number 1033. So let's go look at a sinus herbal formula. Okay. Here is, okay. There's the inflammation formula, and 1033. I get nothing from the sale of any product, but I created 14,000 natural remedies. This is one of them. And it's called Sinus Aid. And Sinus Aid has bayberry root bark that's going to shrink the sinuses so you can breathe through your nose. The golden seal root is a natural antibiotic. The myrrh gum is a biblical natural antibiotic. Colloidal silver water in there because it is an antibiotic, a natural antibiotic. And all of these are combined together in formula number 1033, and you put it in a neti pot. You can also add a 1/8 of a teaspoon of sea salt in there. But there you have it. No, I don't want to put it in my cart. Okay, so that's it. There it is. So let's get back to arthritis, and let's change arthritis. Go to common conditions, and let's go down to asthma. Let's go down to respiratory disorders. Let's take a look at asthma, bronchitis, hay fever, and respiratory diseases. A lot of that going on right now. Okay, and we're now reading the report about asthma. Asthma is caused by the spasms in the smooth muscles surrounding the bronchi and the bronchioles. These are the small airways that are in the lungs, causing the passages to partially close. The spasms are accompanied with increased mucus, which clogs the bronchioles and the bronchi and worsens the attack. It's triggered by an allergic response, and the immune system produces histamine. Thus, any type of allergen can precipitate an asthma attack. It results in difficulty breathing, especially exhalation, coughing, wheezing, and a tight chest. This is the condition specifically known as bronchial asthma. And then there's cardiac asthma, which is the result of heart malfunction. The respiratory system consists of the lungs and a series of associated pathways leading into and out of them. The upper respiratory system includes the nose, the throat, and associated structures. The lower respiratory system includes the larynx and trachea and bronchi and lungs. And the term respiration refers to the overall exchange of gases between the atmosphere, blood, and cells. The cardiovascular system transports the gases in the blood between the lungs and the cells. Functions include to supply oxygen, eliminate carbon dioxide, help regulate the acid-base balance of the body, increase nutrition, detoxify and strengthen the body. Then asthma will leave. I said it. Increase nutrition, detoxify and strengthen the body. Then asthma will leave. And again, everything starts with making lifestyle changes. We need to make those lifestyle changes. That's where you start with everything. And here's what you do specifically when there is asthma. You begin and you end your day with some of that colloidal silver water, because you need to get a colloidal silver water generator. You're going to put some in a nebulizer and that's going to mist off the colloidal silver water into the air, and you're going to breathe that all night long while you're sleeping. The colloidal silver water has submicroscopic particles of silver that attach themselves to bacteria, funguses, and viruses in your lungs, and all those viruses, funguses, bacteria in your chest causing all that mucus is destroyed. So you get a colloidal silver water generator, and you go to the store and get 1 gallon of distilled water. That's it. Or you go to these water machines for 29 cents, you get a gallon of water that has nothing in it. Reverse osmosis water. And you're drinking anywhere 8 ounces up to 16 ounces per day until all of the bacterial, fungal, or viral infectious diseases are gone in your body. And then you make sure you're taking that non-dairy acidophilus powder, about 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon, morning and night. And if there is any fungal infections, jock itch, foot fungus, or anything else like that going on, you're going to take it 3 times a day, 1/4 teaspoon, 3 times a day with food. And make sure you have plenty of friendly bacteria. And you're going to drink cat's claw tea, which is also excellent for arthritis. We already said that cat's claw tea was great for arthritis. Well, here it is, also great for asthma. There is a group of herbs in a formulation called number 1078 CAC liquid number 1078, and that is a group of herbs that cleanse the blood, the liver, the bowel, cleans everything up, nourishes the system. It cleans up the liver and coats over the liver where toxins can't get into the liver. And that's what it does. You do that for about 2 weeks, or as often as you need to, because what you're doing with that is keeping every bowel movement so soft when you flush the toilet, it breaks up in a cloud. And when you're keeping cleaned out and keeping those bowel movements soft, and you're cleaning the blood and you're cleaning everything up with it, because it's a cleansing liquid, and you're getting rid of all of the toxins that you're destroying in the body. And then you're taking a fiber with bentonite clay, a fiber powder. And you're taking the fiber powder either in the morning on an empty stomach, and then an hour or two later, you can have something to eat and take your supplements, because you never want to take supplements with a fiber powder, because the fiber powder will absorb all your supplements or nourishment. So you don't really want to take it with your supplements or herbs, fiber powder. And and that fiber powder, when I take that in the morning, I'm putting a scoop of the super green foods over the top of that. It's already got some in there, but I put even more, because that's the most nourishing food that you can get. So I created this formulation called Super Green Foods. You'll see it listed here somewhere in a minute. But we're talking about the fiber powder. And I put a scoop of that Super Green Foods over the fiber powder. And then I put some good tasting protein powder, whether it's vanilla or chocolate, over the top of it. So now it's a good flavor. Okay. Then I'm adding always some cinnamon. I like cinnamon. You got to have that cinnamon. That's it. Stir it up. And, because you're using the fiber powder, about a teaspoon of that or more, up to you're starting with a small amount of fiber powder and increasing it until you have enough fiber in your body to where your bowel movements you're cleaning out and they're breaking up in a cloud when you flush the toilet, but also they're not too liquid. Now you've got the fiber that thickens up the bowel movements, and you balance this for your particular body. Everybody's different. I don't know how much CAC liquid you're going to need. That's why we start with a teaspoon and increase it until you the bowel movement you're be able to flush the toilet. It breaks up in a cloud. Fiber powder, you're taking enough of that, whether it's a teaspoon, a tablespoon, 2 tablespoons, until you're not too loose. Okay, and that's it. It's the fiber with bentonite clay. Bentonite clay is a terrific detoxifier. It mops up and pulls everything into it, including the moisture in your body. So after you take some of that fiber powder and your protein powder and your cinnamon, and you stir it all up together and drink it down, then you want to follow it with another glass of water, because that bentonite clay has absorbed everything, which is exactly what you want it to do. You see, it has the bentonite clay has negatively charged particles that are attracting toxins which are positively charged. So, and that's what the bentonite clay is doing. So that's a system that is just absorbing all the bad things out of your body, and then you adding back one more a cup of water or juice or tea, so that you got and stay rehydrated, and drink all your liquids, and at least a gallon every day, or half your weight in ounces of spring water every day. That's water with minerals in it. And and that's it. And that's how you do a cleanse and a detox with that CAC liquid and that bentonite clay. And along the way here, you have a respiratory formula, number 1378. And you're taking about half a dropperful 3 times a day or more. And that number 1378 respiratory formula acts as an expectorant to help you to release the mucus and the congestion and get it out of your body. So you're taking the amount that works for you. Start with a small amount, increase it until usually about a half a dropperful 3 times a day. But the herbs that work in that respiratory formula are wild cherry bark, which is great for coughs and sore throats. Moline, which is going to help any kind of pain and discomfort, and is very soothing and mucilaginous. And golden seal root is a natural antibiotic. Slippery elm bark is another herb that is very soothing. Colt's foot leaf is an old herbal cough drop, an herb that they've used in all the cough drops years ago. Maybe they still do. Comfrey leaf is in there, and marshmallow root, and which is also very soothing, and lobelia and cayenne. And those are the herbs that are in a respiratory formula that really go to work to help clear the mucus and congestion. But sometimes there's a lot of congestion. So here is another congestion formula, number 1111. And you take that, you take enough of that to help to get rid of that congestion. This formula has garlic, bayberry, mullein, and bloodroot, and cayenne, and lobelia, and is a powerful herb formulation against asthma. Then you want to know about vitamin C because it's a tissue builder. And everybody I know is taking they're not taking enough vitamin C because we need at least 3,000 milligrams of vitamin C daily to be healthy, kind of healthy, mainly healthy. But if you have asthma, then you want tissue repair. You want to come in with some serious vitamin C. And anybody who wants to, like if you're in a car wreck or something like that, you know, where you're all bunged up, or you're a football player and that's like being in a car wreck. Then, you know, you get all beat up. You want 5,000 milligrams of vitamin C every 4 hours. You want 3 times a day, 5,000 milligrams of vitamin C. That will get rid of the bruising, the pain, the suffering of a serious tissue building is what it does. It's a serious tissue builder when you're getting that kind of a dose. Okay. And you do that until, you know, forever, or until you're over the asthma. And there's an asthma formulation that you can that helps with acute asthma attacks. It was really a strange situation. I happened to have a bottle of that in my hand one time in North Carolina. It was in North Carolina. And I was in a car with a medical doctor, and it was going out to eat. And all of a sudden, his wife started to have an asthmatic attack. He pulled over and he was getting ready to give her a tracheotomy, you know, open up the throat with a knife so that she could breathe. I just happened to have, you know, thank you, God, had a bottle of this asthma formula with me, and I gave that to her. Asthma attack was over just like that. We went on to dinner because we were on our way to. He said, "I'm on my way to the hospital. If she starts to collapse, I'm going to have to do a trach." And so we headed there. I got my asthma formula, gave that to her while we're headed to the hospital. Before he could get to the hospital, she was over the asthma attack and said, "Let's go to dinner." The asthma formula is a great herbal formula, number 1051. So that's something you would also use. And if you have the symptoms of hay fever, you know, inflammation of the mucous membrane, which is called allergic rhinitis, you know, this helps to clear up the congestion and eye irritation, a hay fever herbal formulation. Okay, so there it is. There's a hay fever formula if it's hay fever. And if it's a sinus lung problem. Here's a sinus lung congestion herbal formula. Oh, by the way, the hay fever herbal formula is 1231. The asthma formula is number 1051. I said the asthma formula is number 1051, and the hay fever formula is number 1231, and the sinus and lung congestion formula is number 1390. If you have a sinus and lung congestion, because this is a formulation that's targeted to help to clear the lungs and the sinuses of congested matter. And it works when there's allergies, bronchitis, congestion, lung problems, pleurisy, pneumonia, quinsy, respiratory problems, sinusitis, and hoarseness. That's the one you want to reach for to comfort you. And of course, there's Agrimony, because if you have any kind of a lung problem, it's long been used to ease conditions of the upper respiratory tract, and it is especially useful when used as a gargle to soothe sore throats, mouth ulcers, and inflamed gums. And it's often used by performers and speakers to relax the throat and strengthen the voice. So yes, Agrimony leaf. And why are we using acidophilus powder? Because a quarter of a teaspoon, 1 to 3 times a day. The normal healthy colon contains friendly bacteria, about 85% lactobacillus and about 15% coli form bacteria. It is the friendly bacteria flora found in yogurt, which is a very poor choice of getting your friendly bacteria. Dairy is the leading cause of osteoporosis. A lot of people don't know that dairy is the leading cause of osteoporosis. It's too acidic. It doesn't feed the bones the calcium. It causes the bones to become more brittle. Milk, dairy products. Sorry. Now, and this is a non-dairy acidophilus that's found in yogurt and is essential to the digestive system. When these bacteria are not in balance, then the person may experience bloating, flatulence, constipation, and malabsorption of nutrients. That's why you've got to keep the stomach working properly. See, all of those problems with the malabsorption of nutrients and flatulence, constipation, and bloating, all of these lead to something called Candida albicans, which is a yeast infection, fungal infection. Then we got to go to a whole nother report called Candida in the Common Conditions reports and read up about it. Acidophilus is taken as a dietary supplement and may help to detoxify and to rebuild a balanced intestinal flora. It's used to defend against Candida albicans infections. Acidophilus aids the digestion, and it helps to replace the friendly intestinal flora that is continually dying off. And if a person, the cause of the asthma is, if it's caused from the immune system, well, then you want to know about colostrum. Colostrum is what comes into mother's breast. The very first thing with the mother's milk comes colostrum, and the colostrum is all the immune factors that baby needs to be immune. Nature, that's what nature does. And if they don't get that first breast milk, they don't get immunized by nature. They have to get it the hard way after that. Various infections and so forth, they're very easily infected. But colostrum comes as a powder or capsules. You take it like 2 to 4 capsules daily. And what it is, it's a mammary secretion produced just prior to birth. And it's a concentrated immune system builder. And it's released into the mother's milk right after birth. And it contains protective antibodies and many nutrients for the newborn babies. Colostrum helps to protect from infection. For the digestive system and the stomach to mature, that's what it helps do for the baby. It helps the stomach to mature, and it signals the brain. It signals the brain centers that function with digestion. Hold on while I get a little more water here. MSM, number 4018. That's methyl sulfonyl methane. That means it's organic sulfur. The same kind of sulfur that's in garlic. And MSM detoxifies every cell in your body and keeps every cell in your body younger longer. That's called anti-aging. MSM, you want to take it with food. And you would start out with 1/4 teaspoon with each meal. And then you build it up to 1/2 teaspoon. So if you really want to detox and have an anti-aging supplement that's keeping every cell younger longer and more permeable, letting the toxins out, letting the nutrients in, then you might start with 1 teaspoon with each meal the first day of the first week. 1 teaspoon with each meal the first week, 2 teaspoons the second week, 3 teaspoons with each meal on the third week. That's a tablespoon. That is a massive dose. That will keep your skin younger, longer. You won't wrinkle up. And that is going to be some serious anti-aging. And it's safe, totally safe. There's that super veggie powder that I was talking about. That's an energizer. And the super veggie powder, number 4845, by the way, the MSM powder is number 4815. It may not be in stock right now over there from the folks that have been carrying it, but they'll be restocking everything soon. They're just moving. Anyway, the super veggie powder, number 4845. You want to take about 1/2 teaspoon of that 3 times a day or more. You want to add it to your power drink, put it on your foods, salads, anywhere, because it's a power food. It's a super power, super energy powder called super veggie powder. You can also get it as a liquid. But these are the things to build you up so that there's no more asthma. Asthma will leave once you do enough things right. There will be no more asthma. And the study shows with everyday liquid sunshine vitamin D drops. That's something also I take every day. I take 10,000 every day. And every 6 months, starting in October, I take 50,000 for 15 days. On the 16th day, you drop back and take 10,000 until along about March, spring. And in March, you do it again. So about every 6 months, you're taking 50,000 for 2 weeks, one time a day. That's 50,000. That's 50 drops. Each drop is 1,000. So you're taking 50 drops for 15 days. On the 16th day, instead of 50 drops, you take 10 drops. That's 10,000. And in a separate study, researchers from Belgium revealed data showing that vitamin D3, a vitamin D3 deficiency is common among patients with COPD. It's common. If you have COPD, you're not probably getting enough vitamin D. And if they're giving you 1 or 2 or 3,000 and saying that's enough, that's not enough. You need a good, powerful dose. And you want to make sure and have it tested to make sure you're not getting too much or too little of vitamin D3. Find out where you are with that. Almost everyone, not only people that are, it's common with people with COPD, but it's also common with everyone else. About 40% of the people do not have enough vitamin D. And here's what it's doing. The study showed that high doses of vitamin D supplementation on top of the standard Make Lifestyle Changes system improves the outcome in terms of exercise capacity and respiratory muscle strength. That's right. If you're using a good diet and you're taking vitamin D, it increases your respiratory capacity and muscle strength. According to physiotherapist Maïk Hornix in Belgium. Low levels of vitamin D in the blood have been related with muscle weakness, which is a major target for respiratory rehabilitation, and increased risk of falls. And since vitamin D is often depleted in patients with COPD, it was said that they wanted to see if vitamin D supplementation would have a beneficial effect on rehabilitation among those patients, perhaps by increasing muscle strength. The research team studied 50 COPD patients with a history of exacerbations who have been referred for rehabilitation and randomly assigned them to receive either a monthly dose of vitamin D or placebo. And the patients receiving the vitamin D were given 100,000 IUs of international units in a monthly dose, far above the US recommended daily allowance of 600 daily IUs of vitamin D, which seriously questions their motives. All the research subjects, the motives of people who have a daily allowance of 600. That's a serious underdose. And they used 100,000 international units in a monthly dose. And all the research subjects participated in a pulmonary rehabilitation program for 3 months. Both at the beginning of the rehabilitation and when it concluded, the scientists measured peripheral and respiratory muscle strength, exercise capacity, and vitamin D levels. The results: the patients treated with vitamin D had significant improvement in exercise capacity and respiratory muscle strength compared to those in the placebo group. These results support the idea that correcting vitamin D deficiency by adding vitamin D supplements to training programs allows COPD patients to achieve better results from rehabilitation, including improvements in muscle strength and exercise capacity, according to Ms. Hornix in Belgium. Vitamin B complex is very important for someone to have when there's asthma. It feeds the nervous system, and 100 milligrams twice a day of vitamin B complex is a good idea. And that's something you could probably pick up locally if and you should. Vitamin A, make sure you're getting about 10,000 USP units at least 1 time daily. Grape seed extract is another great natural antibiotic. And 100 megs, 2 of them, 2 times a day. And odorless garlic, or lots of garlic in your diet, or garlic capsules. If you're not a garlic eater, odorless garlic capsules, 2 capsules, 3 times a day until the asthma is gone. They found that shark cartilage works against asthma, 740 milligrams for adults. Take 1 capsule 4 to 6 times daily of shark cartilage capsules. Flaxseed oil. You're going to want 1,000 milligrams. You want 3 of them daily. That will reduce inflammation. Bee pollen, it will give you extra support. It's considered to be one of the most perfect foods on the earth. Bee pollen. And starting with either 1 drop of the tincture or 1 granule of pollen in a glass of water, 1 drop or 1 granule in a glass of water, and take a sip to make sure you're not allergic to the bee pollen. It will break an allergy to pollens. It will increase your ability to not be affected with pollen allergies when you increase that dose from 1 drop in a glass of water or 1 granule in a glass of water and take a sip. You start there until you can finally drink the whole glass every morning with no reaction, and then you start increasing the dosage slowly, a drop every day, until you are able to take a tablespoonful of bee pollen. And it will give you a lot of energy and a lot of nutrition, because it's one of the most perfect foods on the face of the earth. Cayenne, that's going to really stimulate you. Be sure not to take much cayenne before bed because it is a stimulant stronger than coffee. So, but cayenne, plenty of that on your foods and so forth earlier on in the day or in the afternoon, early evening, but not late at night because it is a stimulant. Garlic bulb, it's a natural remedy. It's a natural antibiotic. Alfalfa leaf is a super nutrition. Is a plant that is super nutrition. Alfalfa leaf. That's why they feed it to cattle. It's cheap and it's super nutritious. Alfalfa leaf. That's why I put it in the super green foods. Alfalfa leaf and kelp seaweed. That's why I put kelp seaweed in the super green food recipe that I created. So kelp, Irish moss, the seaweeds, get those in your diet. There's wild oregano oil, 3 drops in a glass of water, or 3 to 7 drops in olive oil. May not work so well in a glass of water. It would work best in a teaspoon or a tablespoon of olive oil. 3 drops to 7 drops maximum of wild oregano essential oil. That helps to get rid of a pneumonia infection in one or both lungs, which is usually caused by bacteria. And if you're talking about pneumonia, you also want to know that you want to be breathing the colloidal silver water, because in 72 hours, no pneumonia can exist in nebulizing and breathing colloidal silver water for up to 72 hours. Pneumonia is gone. And then if you're using wild oregano oil, 3 to 7 drops in a teaspoon or a tablespoon of olive oil, you are getting rid of some really anything that doesn't belong in the body, including pneumonia. And over 500,000 people are admitted to a hospital for treatment every year. There's 3 million people develop pneumonia. 500,000 of them wind up in the hospital. And although most of these people recover, approximately 5% of the pneumonia victims will die from pneumonia because they don't know how to use colloidal silver water to put it in a nebulizer and breathe it. Pneumonia is also known to be the 6th leading cause of death in the world and is completely preventable when you know about colloidal silver water and wild essential oil of oregano. Wild oregano essential oil, colloidal silver water. The most common cause of a bacterial pneumonia is Streptococcus pneumoniae. In this form of pneumonia, there is usually an abrupt onset of the illness with shaking chills, fever, production of a rust-colored sputum, and the infection spreads into the blood. And in 20 to 30% of the cases, known as sepsis. And if this occurs, 20 to 30% of those patients die. Antibiotics as a treatment. Well, antibiotics often used in the treatment of this type of pneumonia include penicillin, amoxicillin, and clavulanic acid, and which is augmentin, and macrolide antibiotics, including erythromycin and azithromycin and clarithromycin. erythromycin. Penicillin was formerly the antibiotic of choice in treating pneumonia. And with the advent of the widespread use of broader spectrum antibiotics, significant drug resistance has developed, which I warned people about over 50 years ago, over radio, television, in my broadcasts. 50 years ago, I told them that what they're doing with the antibiotics will cause significant drug resistance, and it did. Penicillin may still be effective in a treatment of pneumococcal pneumonia, but it should only be used after cultures of the bacteria confirm their sensitivity to this antibiotic, penicillin, which has been it's been used for well, inflammation in the urinary tract and infections in Eastern and Middle Eastern cultures have been going on for centuries, and chronic inflammation in the urinary tract, infections, dysentery, and jaundice, and laboratory studies in which the oil, wild oregano oil, were used in those cultures for centuries. And these laboratory studies now show in which the oil was applied directly to foodborne pathogens, showed that the oregano oil has strong antibacterial properties, according to Data Lioglu et al. In 2004. Medicinal oregano has a high mineral content that enhances its therapeutic benefits, including it has calcium, magnesium, zinc, potassium, copper, boron, and manganese are part of the constituents. This oil is considered safe for humans and may be used in conjunction with antibiotics like golden seal and others to fight bacterial infections. And it is also known as an excellent early defense mechanism when you feel cold, a cold or a sore throat coming on. Bloodroot is something you use very, very small doses. Bloodroot is used mostly as an expectorant. Larger doses tend to be a sedative, and excessive doses of bloodroot, if you're drinking a whole bottle of bloodroot, it can be fatal. You don't do that. See, you really need to know about herbs before you use them. They're just, although all of them are safe, there are some that can harm you if you use excessive amounts. Bloodroot's one of them. It's a powerful herb that is used for eczema, sores, other disorders of the skin, and other indications include syphilis, hemorrhoids, tumors, and bloodroot has been used when there was cancer. So these are the herbs that comfort people when those are the conditions that they're dealing with. Bloodroot, but be careful with it. And I always use it in only a very correct small amount in anytime I'm using it. There's the herb St. John's wort, which is specific for the nervous system. That's why it benefits depression and neuralgia and coccygeal pains and nerve injuries. And it calms the nervous system to treat insomnia and bedwetting. The hypericins in St. John's wort help to alleviate anxiety and depression, including menopausal depression. And it is St. John's wort is healing for the stomach disorders and gastritis. And it's an expectorant for bronchitis. It's a diuretic for gout and arthritis. And it lessens menstrual cramps. Other uses, it's an overall tonic for chronic uterine problems and after birth pains and childbirth, and for jaundice and diarrhea, catarrh, and colic. The oil of St. John's wort, the oil extract, is healing for burns and wounds and sores and bruises and skin problems and neuralgia and sciatica. Caution, St. John's wort, you don't use St. John's wort if it's causing you a photosensitivity in some individuals. So watch for a photosensitivity. If you're allergic to the sun, taking St. John's wort, then don't take it. That's it. We're coming to the top of the hour. There's a lot more about St. John's wort on the individual herbs, mullein and saw palmetto and wild cherry bark and golden seal root. Lots of wonderful information about these herbs that are used for asthma. So you're getting so now you're getting all the individual information about the herbs that we're using for asthma at the bottom of the report. That being said, we have come to the top of the hour. And we've talked about a lot of stuff here. And I want to thank you for joining us and supporting us. Be sure and go over to the website, herbalhealthreview.com. And at the top of the asthma report and all of the reports, you'll see miscellaneous information off to the side. There'll be a member intake form that when you fill out the member intake form, it goes directly to me. And then you're telling me everything you want me to make suggestions of information that may help you. And then I send it back to you with all that information when you fill out the member intake form. There's the Make Lifestyle Changes report. And by the way, at the very beginning over here on the home page, if you look at the home page, it's got all the ways to join and make a donation, either $399 for a 48-hour protocol. That's everything done and all your information in your hand within 48 hours. That donation, we ask for $399. Otherwise, we ask for $195 a month, one time. That gives you a lifetime membership in this system where you call me anytime, you contact me, text me, email me, let me know what you need. I respond for the rest of your life for $195 one time. Or for people who cannot afford that, $195 for everybody, $20 a month. For 12 months, you get a lifetime membership for $20 monthly, and you get everything that everybody else gets as well. That's it. That's how to support what we're doing here. As I do not have any sponsors, I do not sell products. This is a membership. This is a wonderful system that helps a lot of people and educates them, so that, because our people are perishing for lack of knowledge. So that's it. The member intake form, the donation, please do that. And join us here every Thursday, because every Thursday, here we are talking about natural remedies, and we want you to make sure and tell your friends. Thank you very much. We're now going to go to a closing prayer, then open up the phone lines, and we're going to all praise the Most High together, going back to the King James Version of the Bible, and Ephesians chapter 6. We'll start with verse 10. In Jesus Christ's name, we are here praising and worshiping and thanking the Most High God. And we are receiving his complete and continuous and endless blessing. And finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore, take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand. Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with the truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. And above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked, and take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God, praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit, and watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for all saints. In Jesus Christ's name, so be it. Praise, worship, thank you, the Most High. Let's open the Amen. Let's open up the microphones here, and we're on our way. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High, brothers and sisters. All praises to the Most High.
All praises to a high Russian Messiah, the Most High.
It's not stopping. I don't know. I don't know why it's not stopping. Okay. It's not stopping. Oh, there